Hey, what's up, guys? I just wanted to show this overpowered PvP strategy I discovered. I believe no one else has ever used this before. This strategy has the power to kill a player in full protection 4 netherite faster than, like, essentially any other method you'd generally be using in combat. It's not quite stronger than things like end crystals, but it is much more powerful than a sword or an axe, as I'm about to display. So right here I have my alt, and I'm going to show off how long it takes to kill with this sharpness 5 fire aspect sweeping edge netherite sword, this sharpness 5 netherite axe, and this power 5 bow. So here we go with the sword. As you can see, it's only doing like half a heart per hit, maybe a heart, even with the crits. And there we go. They're finally killed. So that took a little bit. Let's try the axe now. This does more damage per hit, but you also have to swing slower, as you probably know. So there, now they're finally taken out. And then the power 5 bow. So here we go. Again, it's only doing maybe a heart of damage per hit, which isn't very much in overall, especially compared to this method I'm about to show you. There we go. And let me just demonstrate, even with strength, if I give myself strength, it's still only doing maybe a heart and a half, which it does kill kind of quickly, but if they have something like Potion of the Turtle Master, they can basically negate all of that damage. And so now to the method I've discovered. So what I'm going to be using is Arrows of Instant Damage 2, which aren't that hard to get if you can fight the dragon or just use villagers. Either one of those methods allows you to get them pretty easily. And then an unenchanted bow. You specifically have to use either an unenchanted bow or just a bow that doesn't have power. So here I have an unenchanted bow, and I've also found punch 2 bows work for keeping players at bay if you want. But what you do, instead of charging the bow back, here, watch. I charge the bow back, it does like a heart, which is still decent. But if you spam the bow, it does significantly more damage, and you can destroy a netherite player in just a second or two. Just spam the bow at them, and they'll die extremely quickly. Let's wait for their invulnerability, and like, some of my arrows are hitting so fast you have to wait a second because the invulnerability time is too high. It does roughly 2 hearts of damage per hit, which is, as I displayed earlier, much stronger than like the axe even is doing. And then with the punch 2 bow, you can do the same, which it works a bit better at keeping the enemy away. So if they were trying to rush you with maybe an end crystal or something, you could use this to keep them away from you. Which it doesn't always do knockback that well because of the netherite's knockback resistance. But it's extremely strong to spam. You have more range than the other weapons. But you have to make sure, the key things are, you don't, as I stated earlier, don't enchant them, don't give them power, and don't fully charge them, because if you fully charge them, it will not work. It'll still just do the normal arrow damage. So now I'm going to move on to explaining why this works. Let me move these back down here. So why does this work with the harming arrows and with the unenchanted bows, but not with the power bow? So there is somewhat of, I'd call it a glitch in the game, that makes it so if you shoot someone with a strong bow, like the power 5 bow, the arrow hits, and then a little bit later, the instant harming takes place. But because of invulnerability time, the harming is never actually hitting the player. So then you end up doing things like a heart, which would be the normal power bow without the harming arrows. But if you use a weaker bow and spam click so it's not fully charged, the arrow doesn't do its full amount of damage. It does significantly less damage because an arrow's damage is based on the velocity it's traveling. And so, if it's not going very fast because you didn't charge it for very long, the harming effect actually does take place. It takes priority over the arrow's damage. And so the arrow isn't even doing any damage to them. It's the harming effect. So it's essentially a potion of harming, but you can stack it in arrows and spam them at range. So even though maybe having like a hotbar full of instant damage potions may be a bit quicker than this, you can't have stacks and stacks of them ready to use over and over again on full netherite players and just be able to take them out. And because of this, because it's using only the instant harming effect, it's even stronger against players with better armor. So let me just real quick swap out the alt's armor. So now I'm going to be putting on armor with projectile protection 4 and protection 4. So this armor is... Let me just kill this guy real quick. This armor isn't even technically possible to get in the game anymore, but because of the old versions, which let you stack multiple of these enchantments on top of each other, some players may have them that they could use. But because it's only the potion of harming that's hitting them, it still will kill them just as quickly, which is extremely useful as of displayed. You could just completely destroy players in PvP with this technique. That's about it. Thank you for watching.